Good evening and a very warm welcome to everyone out there. Myself, Joya Khan, Ambassador of Change from GETI, and your host for this live session, holding the beacon of success and heralding the dawn of a new era. I bring greetings to each one of you on behalf of the Global Education and Training Institute. And as we usher in winds of change on this live forum of Detox for Educators, it's my immense pleasure to welcome Mr. Anish Baheti, a global keynote speaker from Gujarat. He will be condensing his thoughts on dealing with anxiety using a four cups technique. The topic, my dear viewers, surely rings a bell to focus on our better mental health, on how not to worry, rather to try and cope with anxiety and stress with control, management, just to lessen stress and anxiety. So, without further delay, over to you, Mr. Anish. A very warm
Thank
welcome,
you.
sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, uh, I will share the screen here. Can you?
And while sir is sharing the screen, allow me to introduce sir. He is the inspirational keynote speaker and is an award winning author and a purpose coach to professionals of all walks of life. He is often heard saying that God has been kind in showering him with two skills: simplifying the complex and inspiring the uninspired. As the founder and CEO of Train My Brain and Concepts Coach, Mr. Anish has delivered thousands of entertaining, energizing, and engaging sessions, helping educational institutions, corporate offices, entrepreneurs, teachers, students, and athletes alike. Anish has formed a lasting experience in the world of life improvement. He is passionate about simplifying the complex by creating an experiential learning deck of 52 cards, making meaningful interactions with the audience and helping them connect the dots. All that makes him a much sought after speaker. Listeners simply love his bite sized practical strategies that they can apply both personally and professionally. Mr. Anish earned his Chartered Accountant degree from ICAI and his MBA from the University of Technology, Sydney. He is also a certified life coach from Australia and a certified brain mapping practitioner from the UK. Mr. Anish's honors include winning the Outstanding Leadership Award in Las Vegas, USA in 2022, being voted as one of the winners of the Education and Training Award in Australia, and has been named to BW Education 40 under 40 list in 2020. Train My Brain has also won the Best Companies Award in Dubai, UAE in 2022. The list, my dear viewers, for Mr. Anish is endless. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Zoya. Thank you for that great introduction. I have shared my screen, so I hope everyone can see it. Is that right?
Sir, the side slides. Thank you.
Yeah. So I hope it's now. I mean, I cannot see the chat box, but I hope everyone can see the screen. So, anxiety. The topic for today is dealing with anxiety and excessive worry using a four cups technique. Um, Before I get into that, so Zoya has already shared my introduction over there, and it's an honor to be on this platform. I'm really interested in a platform which promotes education and training in a simplified way to as many people as possible. So it's a wonderful sort of an opportunity to discuss and talk about today's topic. So a bit about myself. So, as you can see on the screen, I've done my CA from India and MBA from Australia, but it was a difficult sort of journey. This entire journey was not that smooth, and obviously life is never smooth. But there were a lot of ups and downs, and completing your CA. When you were doing CA, when I was doing CA, you feel a bit anxious, you feel a bit stressed out. So I'm just trying to tell you, like, it is very common to feel anxiety and stress in our day-to-day life. But once completing CA, then we start getting offers. Then also we feel, oh, what's going to happen? Will I get that sort of a package? Yes or no? Will I get this sort of a job? Again, you feel very anxious. So the journey, as soon as you are in this life, there will be a lot of stress. There will be a lot of challenges, and we are always anxious about the future. We want the future to come slightly quicker, rather than we living in the present. We want the future to be very, very come very quickly, and that's where the anxiety kicks in. So I'm going to talk about a bit of a background or a statistics about anxiety and all that, or mental health. So 3 out of 6 people on an average will have some sort of when they go through this sort of mental disorder, or you can say a bit of a anxiety, or 3 out of 6 people usually they don't receive the right sort of a treatment. Usually they don't receive the right sort of a treatment, and 5 out of 6 of those individuals who don't receive the right treatment, if they try and implement some self-care tips, if they try and build self-love, if they try and understand themselves slightly better, or build self-awareness, self-motivation, chances are they will be able to come out of that anxiety sort of feeling, or always being in a worry cycle. They can automatically come out of it just by implementing those steps of self-care, self-love, self-awareness, and self-motivation. So today's session, I will try to explain what is stress and what is anxiety, and how we can deal with anxiety. So the idea of doing this session, the idea behind doing this session was to keep it really simple, keep it inspiringly simple. If you read literature on anxiety, if you read literature on stress, there is a lot of information, and you might get confused, and you might feel, oh, I've got this and that. So it will become more and more confusing. So the idea of today's session is to keep the topics of stress, worry, anxiety really, really simple. So let me explain what is stress. And as you can see on the screen, there is a card which is card number 19, which is actually coming from the 52 deck of cards which I have created on self-awareness, on self-love. So it is card number 19. And card number 19 is on card number 19, you can see 4 sections, or you can see 4 arrows. I'm going to take you through one arrow at a time. So first, let's understand stress. Okay, so stress is basically when we are trying to, we will get under stress when thing doesn't fall according to what we want. It doesn't go the way we are predicting it to go. You will feel stress. So it's like, I want certain situation, certain event, certain person, certain thing to behave the way I want it to behave. And if it doesn't happen, you will feel stressed. So that is the simplest definition of stress. And if you feel stress, there are this sort of 4 options in front of you. So I'm going to talk about the first option. The first arrow is going towards the top, which means when you face a stressful situation, one of the option for you is to run away. And this is what we call as a flight. You're a flight mode. Basically you're just flying away from that situation, thinking, hoping that that situation is going to automatically solve, or time is going to heal them. At times it does, but at times it doesn't. It will come back it will catch you, basically. So for the time being, momentarily, you have you have diffused that situation, you have moved yourself aside from that situation, or maybe you have taken a break. So it's a good sort of an option for the time being, but eventually it might catch up with you. So whenever in my so this is something relating to what goes into my head. Okay, so as you can see, I've written let's move on. So whenever I'm faced with a stressful situation, and in that stressful situation, if my mind says let's move on, somehow I'm trying to run away. Somehow I'm in this flight sort of a mode, and I want to disappear from that situation. So that is one reaction. The second reaction towards a stressful situation is confronting. So, as you can see, the arrow is going in the front. So, when we are confronting, we are actually fighting with that sort of a situation, person, event, stressful event. So, when you fight, you might win, you might not win, but you will be losing a lot of energy, money, resources, whatever you want to call that. So fighting is, sometimes you have to be bold enough, you have to take a stand, sometimes you need to fight for your right, that is okay. But if you are fighting just to win, just to prove your point, just to make sure that, okay, you want to prove it to the world that you are the winner, it is not going to be the right sort of a choice. The thing which goes into my head is, when I'm in a stressful situation where I feel like fighting, the thing which goes into my head is, how dare you? When I say something like this, I am getting into that zone of fighting. So that is also a reaction. The third arrow is going down. And by going down, I mean hiding or freezing. So basically, you freeze because you feel helpless. You feel insignificant. You feel that you cannot do anything in this stressful situation. You don't have the resources. You don't have the people. You don't have the money. You cannot do anything. So it's better that you feel, you just freeze. You just hide yourself, which is also like a passive reaction to a stressful situation. Sometimes you need to do that. Again, it's a call which you need to take, which situation you need to freeze and which situation you need to fight, which situation you need to fly. This is some of the things which you need to take your personal call based on your own wisdom. But freezing also, if you do this often, if you do this all the time, it is a reaction to a stressful situation. So all the three arrows are reactions. The last arrow, as you can see, is going back. So going back is literally, in your mind's eye, you take a step back from that situation. And then you try and assess that situation, being mindful of that situation. In a way, you are actually flowing with the situation. In a way, you are floating with that situation. And your mind says, in fact, my mind says, usually when I'm in that zone, it says I've got a choice. So if I'm faced with a stressful situation, if my mind says I've got a choice, it means my mind is in a responsive state instead of reacting. So if it is in a responsive state, it is going to look out for at least two options, because it's a choice. So my mind is going to search for two options, at least two options. And chances are one of the options out of the two would be slightly better, slightly more mindful, slightly more responsive. So to look at stress from this four angle, see if you're running, see if you're confronting, see if you're hiding most of the time, see if you can actually break that cycle, and you can take a step back and assess that situation and see if you have a choice. Think about it. So that is stress. The definition of stress, that is my way of understanding stress and my way of looking at stress. Now, closely linked to stress is anxiety. And as we go along in our life, as I said in the introduction itself, you you will go through a lot of phases in your life, in your career, in your business, in your work, in your personal life, professional life. And every single day there will be a lot of decisions which you need to make. Before making the decision, you will feel anxious. What if, whether it's going to happen, yes or no. So it is going to happen. So that thinking that, oh, I will be anxiety free, or I will be living in a utopian world where there will be no stress or anxiety, it's not right. It will be there. How you manage it, how you handle it, that will make a difference. So let me introduce anxiety in a different way again. So as you can see, this is card number 46, again coming from that deck of cards. And that card is on wisdom. So building wisdom around your anxiety. That is what we are trying to do here. So you can see there are four boxes or
Excuse me, sir.
four sections.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So your slides are not changing. I'm sending you the messages also. It's only the first slide. Kindly scroll
I
your.
can't see. I
Now
can't
it is
see
changed.
your. I can't.
No, now it is changed, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So basically talking about anxiety. So there are four, as you can see, there are four sections which I've created on the card here. In fact, if this so if you can see, there are like and I'm going to take you through this in a form of using the four cups technique. So the first cup which I want to introduce is the cup of control. So as you can see, you can take any sort of a cup. You can even take a small sort of a box and label it control. Okay. Now in this cup, I want you to, like, even writing it down on a piece of paper. You can just write it down on a piece of paper, fold it, and put it into this cup. So let us understand what you need to put here. So all those things in your life, all those areas in your life which you feel you're controlling, uh, all those situations, all those events, all those people you think you are controlling, or you think that they are in your control, you need to write it down on a piece of paper, fold it, and put it into this control box. And you have to be honest with yourself. If you think, oh, this person is in my control, oh, I can say whatever I can say, that person is going to behave accordingly, or that event is under my control, the situation is in my control. If you have that sort of a thought process, make sure you write it down, fold it, put it into this cup. Another item, make sure you write it down, fold it, put it into this cup. Be honest with yourself. So that's a control cup. So right now, just to give you an example, right now I'm sitting in this room. Okay, so I have so I've got this remote control in my hand, and I'm the only person who's sitting in this room, and I can change the air con temperature. It is in my control for sure. If there are 4 or 5 people sitting here in this room, in this conference room, chances are I cannot just simply pick and change the temperature. I might have to ask, I might have to see what is the consensus, etc., etc. I'm giving a very silly example, but then in that case, it's not in my control. So in your control, ideally, your happiness and sadness, I think you are alone. You can control your own happiness and sadness. You might get influenced, but ultimately, your happiness and your sadness is in your control. And you can make a list of all the things. I'm just giving you an example. Continuing my example of the air con, if there are 4 or 5 people sitting, maybe I have to manage. I have to ask. I have to see, okay, what is the common sort of a consensus, and we can put the temperature accordingly. So this is what we call as managing. There are certain things which we can control. If you cannot control, you need to manage it. So I cannot manage I have to manage the traffic every single day. I cannot control the traffic. I have to manage where I'm going from A to B. I have to manage the traffic. I have to manage the weather. I have to manage maybe inflation, whatever is your list of things which you are managing right now, or you think you are managing right now. Write it down, put it into this cup. Okay, you're managing your day-to-day life. You're managing maybe your boss. You're managing your peers. It could be anything. Make sure you write it down, put it into manage cup. The next cup is the accept cup. So accept cup is things which I can't manage, but I need to learn to accept it. So I think the biggest acceptance could be accepting yourself just the way you are. You should have that room to improve yourself, but then again, accepting the way you are. You should accept your imperfections, the way God has made you. If you can try and change it, if you can try and control it, if you can try to manage it, it's good. Otherwise, you need to learn to accept it. So, what is your list of things which you're accepting, or which you have learned to accept, or which you think you're accepting? What is your list? Again, write it down on a piece of paper, fold, and put it into the accept cup. And then the last one is the ignore cup, or a better word is let go. So, let go cup is things which you need to learn to let go. You cannot control, you cannot manage, you cannot even accept it. You have to let go. So other people's judgment about what you're wearing or so that is something, either you accept it or you let it go, okay, because it's not going to matter much in terms of your personality, in terms of what hides underneath your skin. It's not going to change. Other people's judgment, opinion, maybe toxic, I would say toxic food, also toxic relationship, you need to learn to let go, because it is going to uh, it is going to deplete your energy. It is going to uh, if you are in that sort of a surrounding, it is going to um your energy will be diverted into a wrong direction. So you need to learn to let go that sort of a environment or people. So what are the things which you are letting go right now? What are the things which you have completely, okay, this is a situation I have decided completely, consciously, unconsciously into my brain that this is something which I need to let go? What is your list? Write it down, put it into this cup. Now, if you do this exercise on a daily basis, so I will tell you ideally how it is, how it should be done. Maybe this is just one of the tool. Okay, you feel free to take it, feel free to, let it go. It's up to you, but it's just one of the tool. Every single day, you do this exercise. So today you might have written, maybe say 10 items in your control cup. You put it down into your control cup. Maybe tomorrow when you wake up, you are looking at those chits into your control cup, and you will feel, hey, I don't really think I can control this person behavior, or I really don't think so that that situation is in my control. So when you read that on the very next day, your perspective might have changed. So you fold it and you put it into other three cups, which one is relevant at that point of time. So if, oh, I think I can manage it, so you put it in the manage cup. Oh, no, I don't think so. I can even, I think I should learn to accept it. You put it into your accept cup. So you're going to shift a lot of chits. There might be a situation where you have put something into the let go cup, and one fine day when you open it, you think, I really don't think so that I'm letting this thing go. It is still hurting me. Still, I'm trying to control that sort of a person or behavior. You lift it and put it into your control cup. You do it on a day-to-day basis. So basically, you're developing a lot of self-awareness about your own self, about your behavior preferences, about other people's impact upon you. You're doing this on a daily basis. And then if you do this gradually, what you will find is your control cup is going to shrink, or the items in your control cup is going to shrink, because you have understood it, literally understood, like every cell of your body is understanding that it is not in my control, and you are shifting it to the manage cup, accept cup, or let go cup. Slowly and gradually, you will also see that there are lesser and lesser things which you're managing also, because you are coming to an understanding that I'm actually accepting a lot of things, just the way it is happening. Yes, I'm doing my efforts, but then I'm accepting it the way it is unfolding in front of me. So there will be a lot of acceptance. So you will see more and more when you do this exercise, a lot of thing consciously, unconsciously, you will be shifting into the accept cup, or maybe let go cup. Anxiety happens when you have a lot of things in your control cup. That's when anxiety happens. You want to control this should happen on this time. Oh, why is this person not coming? Oh, why this person is not picking this. You are feeling so anxious because you're trying to control so many things. When you're trying to control, you're bound to be anxious. So the knowledge that, okay, effort, okay, let it be, let us see what's going to happen. Maybe we have to shift it to the manage cup, or maybe from manage we have to put it into the accept cup. And from accept cup, if it is not even, we are not able to accept it, then there has to be some sort of a way to let it go. This is not meant for me or my life. And once you complete that exercise, you will see that your anxiety is naturally going down just by understanding this concept of 4 cups. So that's basically what I wanted to you to understand. You can, as I said, you don't have to go fancy. Just pick any cup or maybe even small little boxes. Just label them: control, manage, accept, let go. Even label any other word the way you want to. But I hope you got the essence of the 4 cups. Um, Go crazy with this. Add one more cup if you want to. It's up to you. Delete one cup if you don't like it. Exactly up to you. But the idea is your anxiety should go down naturally. So we have understood stress. We have understood that stress gives us a lot of anxiety, and anxiety happens because of our predictions about future. This should happen in this time, etc., etc., and that's the reason anxiety happens. And if you have understood this 4 cups, and if you can do this religiously on a day-to-day basis, chances are you will see the difference. So it is, as I said, it was coming from the deck of cards, 52 cards, and it is all about building self-awareness using one card at a time. So that's it. That was my short and sweet presentation. I hope it was sweet, but it was short, and just giving you some insight about anxiety and stress. So over to you, Zoya. I have completed my presentation.
Thank you so very much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. I think the topic that you chose was actually the need of the hour. In this mad rush and roar, we will find very few people who are leading a stress free and an anxiety free life. So this was very much needed, so that it's become our second nature to be anxious about things that we cannot control. As you just said, anxiety occurs when we try to control things, and in the process, when we are not able to do what we are trying to aim at, we are trying to control certain things which are beyond our control. That is when anxiety creeps in. So I think this is so much common with all the people. I i think very few people are there in the world who can say I have no stress, or I don't feel anxious, I'm anxiety free. Now every person, right from small children, we are listening as educators, we come across students, they are full of stress, anxiety, so many other things. And I remember when I was growing up, depression, anxiety, stress, we did not know these words existed also. But today, a small child will say, "Oh, I'm feeling so stressed out. Oh my God!" And it's so sweet also to hear them saying, "Ma'am, I'm feeling very depressed this morning." Now, how does that little child know what exactly depression is all about? What stress is all
True.
about? So, this is a very relevant topic that you took today. We often see people, they are nervous before making a presentation, before doing an important assignment, before a meeting. There is social anxiety before a date, a wedding date, a group gathering. There is worry, nervousness, and fears related to boarding a flight. That's a kind of phobia also.
Mm.
And some people,
Yes,
have
yes.
that phobia, claustrophobic they feel when they are enclosed in a place, they don't get an outlet, and you're feeling, and so much they are anxious that also it leads to a panic attack at times. It can be very, very serious.
Yes.
So I would just like to
Yes.
ask you, though you have very briefly summed up in a very nice way, yet I can't stop myself from asking you that what are the calming strategies for a better mental health?
Wow. Very, very nice question, Zoya, and it's very relevant also. So I will give you two of my personal favorite, okay? And as I said, like it's just my view, and anyone can take it or they can add or delete whatever they want. So one thing which I was listening very carefully when you were saying that we whenever they are going for an exam or they are going for a date or even when they are going for a boarding a flight, they feel anxious. Like people feel anxious. uh, I personally feel you you will feel anxious if you don't trust the process. If you don't trust the process, you will always feel anxious. Now, let me give you an example. Okay, let's assume that I have to catch a flight at 6 o'clock today. Okay, 6 o'clock is not possible. Let's assume 8 o'clock. Let's assume I have to catch a flight at 8 o'clock, and I'm finishing this presentation, and then I think I have to rush, I have to catch a cab, etc., etc., etc. There is a very, very important meeting which I have to attend tomorrow, so I have to be there in Bangalore, say for example tonight. If I trust the process, if I feel that if I'm supposed to be there next day in Bangalore addressing that group of people, I will be there. I will reach there for sure. Maybe the flight will get delayed. Maybe my cab wala will rush very fast. He's a very good sort of a person who can take shortcuts and find the way. If I'm supposed to be there tomorrow morning, if I'm not supposed to be there tomorrow morning, even though I finish my presentation right now, I catch my bag and I go to a cab, and I've got 3 hours before my flight is there, and I reach at the airport, and somehow the flight is cancelled, and the next flight is only available tomorrow. Say, for example, even if I'm preparing, so I personally feel that number one, you need to trust the process. That's number one. Number two, you have to be in a state of flow. So this is my personal favorite. It is very difficult, but what I'm trying to say is like whatever is happening in your life, the kind of sessions we are doing, the kind of people. So today I'm meeting you. It was supposed to be done like this. It was supposed to be like that. If you are in that state of flow, it means you're not fighting. If you're not fighting, it means you're not wasting your energy. It means you're not stressing out because you are in that state of flow. So, second point is state of flow. And third is doing some sort of a meditation, whatever meditation, whatever, or maybe even doing exercise, because exercise is also going to loosen up your negative energy, maybe doing yoga, maybe going for a run, swim, whatever you want to pick. But doing meditation will really help you give some clarity. It will slow down your processing. It will slow down. It will build your acceptance. It will build the cup of acceptance, by the way, because you're in meditation state. You're actually, whatever is happening, you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there. So there are a lot of meditation technique where they make you sit like in a state of you're not moving your body, because if you move the body, you're moving your mind, and if you move your mind, you're trying to think something. So in order to still your mind, you need to still your body. So that's the very first step in meditation: still your body and then still your mind. So you can use any tool. You can use a mantra. You can use a photograph of your any god, goddesses, religious, any. You can do that sort of a meditation. You can even have a candle. You can look at the candle and bring that concentration and meditation. You can simply look at your breath, like feel your breath and do the meditation. You can simply go blank. Don't do anything. Whatever happens, happens, and that is a state of flow. That is a pure meditation. You can even get into a hobby. So if you're a musician, you're playing that music and you're in that zone, so that you are in a meditative state of mind, because you are in that zone and everything goes away. If you are a painter, when you're painting, there is no anxiety in your brain, because you and the canvas, you and the strokes, that's all you're doing. So meditation is not going to the Himalayas and sitting in a cave. No, meditation is you are in a state of flow. That is the pure meditation. So I gave you state of flow with meditation, and I also gave you the two or three tips about calming yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So I think our viewers must have clearly, taken those note of those 2 points, 2 3 points that you said. Trust the process, and if you trust the
That's the
process,
process. Yeah.
you are surely going to be anxiety free. And you feel, yes, if I have set a target, if I have set an aim, and if I trust the process, there is no reason why I'll lag behind. And second thing is calming of the mind due to meditation. That's a very, very important point that you have made, that mental health really needs the calmness of the mind. And that is a source that we derive through meditation. Another question that I have for you, sir, is some people, we will find that they don't show that they are anxious. They keep their thoughts, feelings, anxiety all pent up within themselves. And the situation worsens so much that a time comes when they have to consult a therapist. So, what is your take on consulting a therapist who specialized in different skill-based therapies to, free a person of anxiety or provide different, solutions to help them lead a stress-free life?
So I think, Zoya, that's a personal sort of a choice. So for some people, they like medication. Some people like meditation. Some people like to speak with a coach. Some people like to speak with a therapist. Some people like to, speak it out with their friends and family members. So it's a personal choice. Um, but I would say, like, whatever help you think is going to help you come out of the anxiety, you should take it. So it's not a something written on stone. It's like written in sand. If it feels that, okay, I need a therapist, okay, you go for a therapist. And then maybe the therapist has done some sort of a rewiring or given you some sort of a different perspective to your problem, and then you might leave the therapist and work upon your own self. So you might need that push start at the very beginning, and then slowly and gradually you go on your own self. So depending upon what stage you are, what sort of method is suitable to you, I think you should pick that choice. It's a personal choice.
Thank you so much. Sir, in this mad rush and roar that we are running in a rat race, madly we are running. It can be due to our profession, it can be our domestic life, it can be our social life, whatever. Uh, I doubt there are people who are that cool, that calm. So now, what do you think that some people resort to very quick coping methods, coping mechanisms for times like in which one feels that you don't have a second to breathe. You spoke about, breathe free. Now, they don't have a second, be it a wedding ceremony, be it an organization that they are running, be it an ordinary person employed in an office. So now, what is your message for such people?
So, Zoya, I think I didn't understand that question quite well. So, what method for what sort of
How
people?
to cope
Sorry.
with this kind of running around, how to cope with this kind of
Ah,
stress.
okay. So basically, getting into that rat race and how to come out of that rat race, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that is a very good question, actually. First of all, I would say don't be part of that race. If you think that you are part of a rat race and it is creating stress, okay, don't be a part of that race. If you are part of the race, don't be a rat. So either of those choices, okay, and or build your own sort of a track. Why you have to just follow that track. So I usually do. I'm a chartered accountant, right? So I either I had these two choices. Either I work for an MNC, and I became CA at the age of 22, which was really good, like 20 years back. And I started getting offers and all that. So one route was just, okay, take the job, get the really good salary into your bank account, and just be the part of it, take promotion, etc., etc. But then one fine day I realized that this is not something which gels with my fabric, my personality. So I came out of that rat race, and that was a tough decision to get out of that rat race and then figuring out your own sort of a track. You have to build that track slowly and gradually. So it took me a while, but then it's fulfilling. It is fulfilling. So I think, do you want to be part of that race? Number one, can you get rid of that race? Can you find another race which is slightly medium pace? You can also do that. Can you find another track which is slightly slow pace? You can still do that. Do you need to be part of, do you need to become a rat? Even if you're in the rat race, you can still go at your own pace in that fast sort of a lane. It's up to you. It's your life. You need to design it. You need not live your life by default. You need to live your life by designing it, just like a designer. Just the way we do design thinking, you need to design your life, and this is part of designing. Why to be in that rat race? So that is my honest sort of a response to your question.
That's a beautiful answer. And I really liked it that don't be a rat and don't be a part of the race and take the path, design your life your way, not by other people's principles and rules. That's wonderfully said. And I feel that let us not wait for distress to reach a level that is very, very hard to handle. Let us not take stress to that level which we feel absolutely helpless, that we just put our hands on our head and say, now what is there to be done? And you also spoke about implementation of self-care. I think this comes when you start loving yourself. You start realizing,
Yes.
well, things are going to happen. And I think a lot of positive affirmations are needed. We need to have that kind of a positive approach in life, which is surely going to help us each morning, right from the time we are waking up. We shouldn't be stressed out. Oh, we need to get up at 4 a.m. So if the alarm is not the whole night, we are anxious whether we'll be able to make it at 4 a.m. And in the process, we do not get a good night's sleep. So that is there.
So
Start loving
Zoya,
yourself.
Zoya, yeah. So Zoya, just to answer that thing which you mentioned about sleeping in the night. So again, my point is, if you have a meeting tomorrow morning, and I've got many incidents about don't have no not having any alarm clock, etc., etc., and exactly at 3 o'clock your eyes open, because you have to be there, you are supposed to be there. It happens like that. If you're not supposed to be there, something is going to happen. Trust me, in the morning something is going to happen. Something is going to get you. You might start your scooter, it will not start. You will get a puncture, anyways you will not reach to the meeting. So trust the process, very important. It will become, it is a slightly difficult concept to internalize and know how Anish, I cannot just keep sleeping and don't put the alarm clock. I understand. Initially you put the alarm clock, but then slowly and gradually you'll see that the clock is not even required. You will wake up when you are supposed to wake up if you trust the process.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you 100% that if you are supposed to be there, there is no reason why
Yes.
you will not wake up. I have tried it in my personal life too. That, there's a saying, you before going to bed at night, you just have to say, I need to get up at 5 a.m. And lo and behold, whether the alarm rings or not, you will be up at 5 a.m. That I agree to that.
True.
And the other thing I
True.
liked is that everybody here must have this thing to let go. You must have the wisdom, the
Yes.
mindfulness to let go of things that you can't control, to let go of things that you cannot change. And there is another very beautiful line that says, this too shall pass. If we live by it, that
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
this too shall pass. And so let go.
Can
These
I
are things.
can I share, Zoya? Can I share a story around
Sure, sure,
that
sure. We
sentence
still
which
have
you said?
time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So the story goes like this. Okay. So the story is like, a person who is in his old age, and he has got his two sons. and he passes away, and obviously by the definition they have to split the property and all that, the wealth and everything which the old man has left behind. So this elder brother and younger brother, so they split everything, equally. But then they find two different sort of you know sort of boxes actually, and in one box there was like all gold ornaments and ancestral gold and all that. This was hidden in this one sort of a box. In the second box there was like a little ring, a very normal sort of a ring, not even silver, very simple ring. So the elder brother was slightly having that sort of a ego, and he said like, oh, see, I'm the elder in this family, so ideally I think this is ancestral property, so I should be taking care of it because you're younger. So the younger brother had a big heart. He says, it's okay, you can keep it, no problem. And he keeps the simple ring box. The younger one keeps that. Now, what happens is in the life of the elder brother, the ups and the downs come. When the up comes, he spends lavishly, and lavishly is like on the top of the world. Then suddenly the life takes a downturn in his own sort of a journey. Then he goes depressed, he goes anxious, and cigarette and alcohol. He abuses himself, etc., etc. Sooner or later, he passes away. Basically, he just he cannot cope up with that sort of a phase. The similar phase happens in the younger brother's life also, ups and downs. Now what happens is one fine day, the phase of the younger brother was like he was very down. The farming was not proper, there was no rains, etc. So it was very, very down and depressing time. So he says like, he thought about that two boxes. He said like, why would my father keep two boxes, and one with all this gold and everything, and the other one with like a simple ring? Like, it doesn't make any sense. He should have kept it like at least equal or even. So he goes back and open that sort of a cup, and he opens that ring, and he tries to look at that ring from inside, and inside the ring was inscribed, this too shall pass, which means that that old man has actually given a lesson to this guy, which was equal in worth of gold and silver, that whatever phase you are going through right now, like the downturn phase, this too shall pass. And then suddenly he comes out of that phase, and then he sees all the beauty and all the money and everything. So it is now in a very good sort of a phase. He again goes back to the box and open it, and he reads it again. This too shall pass. So don't get too attached to this one. So again, he comes down into that balance sort of a. So that is also a very good sort of. I thought it's a good sort of a thing which you raised, and I wanted to share this story. So
This happens to be my favorite line, this too shall pass. That is why I mentioned it.
yes,
So, because it is very
yes, yes.
important for an anxiety-free life, that for every see,
Mm.
just to dream and imagine that everything will be beautiful is not going to fetch anything. So, if we have this
Hmm.
approach, well, things will not be the same always. So, this too shall
Yes.
pass. Let go and be ready to face challenges, meet deadlines,
Yes.
targets, and whatever comes your way. Because God, somebody, that divine power is there, God is there, and things will
Hmm.
not be the same always. So that's there.
Yes.
Just before we part, I want a parting shot from you, sir. Just a little one line message for our students who are so much, full of anxiety, and they're leading a stressful life due to examinations, due to competitions, due to career problems. What is the message for them?
Zoya, I have got the same message which I started off my presentation. Go with the flow, trust the process. If you're supposed to become a doctor, you will become a doctor. And I hope that you become a good doctor. So ideally, I would say don't chase what the world is asking you to chase. Just listen to your heart. If your heart says, no, 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 I want to become a dancer, do everything to do what you're supposed to do to become a good dancer. Because when you dance, people eyes will lit up, and that is your success. So go with the flow, trust the process, listen to your heart.
Absolutely taken, sir. What the catch line is, be the best of whatever you are going to be, the
Yes,
best
yes.
version of yourself. So that's
Yes.
a beautiful takeaway. Mindfulness, calmness of mind, meditation, go with the flow, trust the process, have faith in yourself, and things are surely going to turn out for the better. For nothing is permanent, this too shall pass, as we all know. And so, as we move ahead, life will surely be beautiful, and life is beautiful. It's only the mindset that needs a change, a transformation. So, thank you, dear viewers, for being so patient out there, for appreciating Sir's topic and his input, such valuable inputs. Thank you so much. I would like to thank all the other viewers who will be eventually seeing the session. You will have some wonderful takeaways from here. And all the students out there listening, pick up the keywords and live by them. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us, for making this a beautiful and thought provoking evening. Very interesting. And thank you for that lovely story, too. Have a lovely evening,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Stay blessed. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thanks for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope people get inspired. Thank you very much.
Thank you.